What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Noisy Boy here, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be doing some Monster Hunter World crossover with The Witcher 3 of Geralt of Rivia. I know this is a bit of a different video, guys. I did want to try and work in Monster Hunter World into this some way, shape or form. But before we get started, guys, remember if you have been enjoying my channel so far, remember to smash that like button to support my channel. If you're new, feel free to subscribe, because I'd love to hear your feedback and your comments in the comment section below. I'll probably be skipping a lot of the dialogue. This is post-commentary as well, so I'll skip a lot of the fighting and all that kind of stuff, because this video has been cut down to 36 minutes of an hour and 5 minutes. So I'll talk with you guys along the way, so get ready for it. Let's go. Here we are, contract trouble in the ancient forest, and we are Geralt of Rivia. Look how beautiful he looks. I love these crossover series that they have, you know, in games like this. But unfortunately, this is not the first time. This is actually the second time I've done this quest. This is just me going through the settings. I thought that maybe I could show larger health gauge bars, because one of the side quests is you have to keep a Pookie alive. I don't think I did in this particular one. This is old footage, by the way. When the quest first came, when the crossover first came out, I decided to reload Monster Hunter World. I can't even remember when the crossover was. It was actually a long while ago. Like I said before, this particular quest, well, this recording I should say, took me an hour and 4 minutes, I think it was, altogether. And I have cut it down to 36 minutes or whatever it is in the end. So again, like, I will be skipping a lot of the dialogue and all that kind of shit too. A lot of the traveling time, stuff like that. And in this particular run, I did actually take the dual blades with me. A lot of the time when I play this game, if I want to get rid of something really quick, the dual blade usually does the job really quick, really good. I know I didn't use the steel sword, Geralt's swords, but it was just one of those ones where the very first time I did this, I actually ran out of time. Like, the swords are good and they're powerful compared with the Igne signs, but they don't hit hard enough or enough times. I'm sure other people will agree with me, especially the ones who have actually played this. Excuse me. That picking other weapons, maybe a light bow gun probably would have been a better choice. One thing I always forget to do is customize my radio menu.
Forest, huh? Easy place to get lost, looks like.
But I have to say, getting back into this has been a real delight. Lately I've been playing with a lot of the homies, with the tempered beasts. I think as of this video, I think tempered Nergigante's come out, so that is going to be sick. I just have to be able to get back into it, because I use the long sword and the light bow gun a lot.
Geralt, I'm a witch. Actually,
As you can see, I'm just going through all the dialogue.
I'd like to check the body if you don't mind. Let's have a look.
Just like old commonly played Witcher games, he always investigates his target, his victims, the environment and shit like that, so
Herbivore. All of them this
and that's pretty much what just Geralt's doing.
body's riddled. Birds' beaks. Lots of them. Herbivore. All of them this big.
I think currently they've actually crossed Monster Hunter World with I think they've done a Street Fighter one as well. They did Devil May Cry as well. And apparently this is the first part, as far as I know, of a Witcher 3 crossover. Actually, what I should say, there is actually one main quest in this one, and there's actually two side quests as well. Now, if you complete, excuse me, if you successfully complete the main quest and the two side quests, you actually get an attack gem out of it. So I tried to attempt it in this one. I don't think I was successful. You'll see why, but a lot of the time, like, I'm sure there are videos all over the internet about how to do it and all that kind of stuff, but it's actually a lot harder than it looks. When you're fighting yourself, it's not too bad, but
same as on the previous corpse. Fox seems to be attacking as one.
if you guys are, well, whoever's a Witcher fan, a fanboy just like myself, or Witcher series fanboy, You might be able to recognize what those crows mean and what monster it might be.
I'm fine.
Have you figured it out yet?
I can't believe they would attack a living aptonaut. Those birds to be honest.
I got it straight away as soon as I saw the birds.
Did you see how they were? I've been out here in the forest. It was as if something was.
Notice anything else?
Come to think of it.
Necker could be god lucky.
Now that this forest is. I wonder if.
Pretty bold.
I haven't seen it in a.
Might have sensed my breath.
If it does, I'll send for our best hunter to.
Mind my asking what?
I've always.
So one thing that I actually didn't add into this one was, because it's the second time I've done it, the first time you do it there's like a whole heap of dialogue and cutscenes of Geralt coming into this world and a Necker and all that kind of stuff. Again, there are plenty of videos online
Take care now.
if you really want to see all those animations and dialogues too. Not really much in it,
Clear
but
as day. This is the work of something that wields magic. Powerful magic. Need to figure out what it is. Should try to find another commission member. What do we have here?
of course a detective that he is.
Notes run margin to margin. Must belong to one of the commission members.
Actually, one thing I have to apologize for, guys, is the fact that this video is probably a lot longer than my normal ones, but my voice is still croaky. I just come off the flu, as some of you may know. Excuse me.
Took off in a panic.
So my voice might sound a bit croaky, might cough in between,
Flew deeper into the woods.
and you might hear the sniffles every now and again, so I do apologize for that. See, Geralt would actually blend into this world really, really good. Like, obviously, his long swords, I'm not sure if he'd be able to take down a wyvern, but again, with his knowledge of monster hunting and trapping and his investigative abilities, and his magic, I guess,
Journal. Same researcher.
he would,
judging
you
by
know, he would be able
handwriting.
to hold his own.
Researcher must have been chased into this cave.
So again, using his cat's eyes.
Medallions humming up a storm. Magic in the air. Gotta be.
Magic in the air.
Tree roots. All extending in one direction.
Okay, surely if you didn't get the bats,
Reaching
you
out for
might be able to
something
get it
that
now
looks
since you have the roots.
like- Need to follow these roots.
Maybe you've picked it up. Bats and roots.
More tracks.
What monster like that?
Regular distance between them.
In The Witcher 3,
But must have been exhausted.
those kind of clues would give that monster away. Especially if you're big fans of The Witcher, you should be able to pick it up by now.
Beasts are of this world.
Excuse me.
Lucky ones at that.
Poor Pookie Pookie. Now these Pookie Pookies are involved in one of the side quests as well.
Choked them to death, it seems. Hopefully whoever left these footprints was luckier.
Oh my, a five? These roots,
Named
Again, he's just talking about his
Witcher.
what happened to him, how he was just kind of going along on his business and he got attacked by these roots. So
Need a hand?
please.
that's pretty much all it is. Their, you know,
Ah,
introductions, their backgrounds, bit of information
You're awfully lively.
processed between the two or passed on between each other.
assure you. There I was, minding. There was no time to think. I was able to outmaneuver.
But yeah, like I said before, I'll just skip all the dialogue. If you are really really wanting to see it, like I said before, from start to finish of this quest, it was about an hour and 5 minutes. So skip, and that's skipping dialogue, man. So geez, it would have been a very, very long
I leave the met.
quest. I think this might be the third time. It could be the second time. I can't remember.
This way. But Igni would take care of those roots right quick.
Actually, no, yeah, I think this is the third time because the first time I failed it because I ran out of time. So the second time I did it, I completed it, but I didn't get all 3 quests done. And then this is the third time.
You alright?
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm no wizard. I'm
Ah, yes.
looking for information. Saw roots like
Again,
these
just
on
information passing on.
It's true that
So yeah, what I'd like to know from you guys is, would you like to see Monster Hunter World? Would you like me to stream it, since some of these quests, some of these hunts can take
something else during
a really, really long time, and some of these videos will just blow out to, you know, 45 minutes, an hour,
territorial display.
depending on how quick depending on how quick I actually can get the quest done.
It is true that in our world, of course, there are natural, but those roots.
I have done the main story. I think I'm Hunter rank.
So,
82
You see,
or 3 right now.
the plants are different.
So I'm obviously high ranked so far. So, but I've just been playing this game with some of the homies and playing with them on their streams, and man, it's actually I've been having a lot of fun, just trying to get back into it because you can actually bring up the like a menu stating which weapon you use the most, and I'm by far using the longsword the most. I love that weapon. But I think one of my mains is probably the light bow gun. I really love that weapon. So just head around this corner, and this is one of the side quests.
No doubt about it. This is Alession's doing. Bet it also transported both me and that Necker to this world.
There you go, Alession. Did you get that?
No.
I pretty much got that as soon as I saw the crows.
Alright. Need to find its totem.
It's funny though, if you go back to my very last Witcher 3 video that I did, it was actually Lord of the Wood, and it was actually Alession, so it's pretty ironic that I kind of, my last Witcher one was actually a Alession fight. So now he is actually part of your side quests, and since we've freed him, he'll actually come to your aid when you fight the Alession. Now the problem with this is that he's definitely on your side and he helps, but you have to keep his ass alive, and I hate doing shit like that, especially when you don't have like your support builds. Like, I like to play a lot of support. If I'm going to go DPS, I'll probably hit up the longsword, but if I'm going to go straight support, I'll probably use the light bow gun. I think we're looking to activate the other side quest too, the Linian one, I think it's called. I'm pretty sure it's just up here. We have to decipher some doodles on the tree.
Inscription of some kind. Can't decipher it. Member of the commission might be able to.
So let's move on. So this is the Linian that will actually be able to decipher what that says, but there is a bit of a twist to doing this. You have to actually have got all the Palico gadgets to actually successfully do this quest. I had already had all the Palico gadgets, so the quest continued on in progress, but I didn't actually know that you needed all of them. I was actually told by one of the excuse me guys, sorry about that. I was actually told by one of the boys that you have to have all those gadgets to actually successfully do this. So if you don't have all the gadgets yet, I'm sure there are videos online, or you can just find them yourself, I guess. The quests are not too hard, but yeah, you have to get all those gadgets first before you do this. Like I said before, look online if you really need to.
Guess up's the only direction.
And then you get to continue on with the chief issue.
Geralt of Rivia, scaling a tree from the inside. That'll be a story to tell.
So pretty much now you got to find the, I think they're called the Galajadins or something like that.
Could get used to that.
So when I first played this, as far as I could tell, since I've played this, you know, a fair few times before, the top of the ancient woods is the Rathalos nest, as far as I know. So when I came here,
But I don't think she's ever come to this.
to my surprise, it was the right spot.
Voices. The Gajalaka must have gathered nearby.
Gajalaka, that's what they're called. The Gajalaka. They remind me of those dudes from shit, what is that game? Crash Bandicoot. Look at him.
Wait, just want to talk.
So pretty much once you destroy them,
Not terribly friendly.
it goes into like a dialogue animation.
Not getting anywhere with this. Gotta wait for the researcher.
Master Witcher.
Good thing you're here.
Yes, of course.
Here I thought that
To decide that this is a serious, you are strong. Would
me.
in all my. But this
So pretty much they want you to be their leader,
matter.
Fine.
or their chief.
Rejoice.
but their previous chief pretty much fell sick with some sort of illness, and he took off into the woods to try and cure himself. Now what we didn't know was that he was possessed by the Leshen. Not the Leshen himself, it was just like a curse placed on the chief by the Leshen. So we tried to heal up by going to the center of the forest, and then just kind of lost the plot.
You will wear a mask and dance the dance.
That's not happening.
Damn. Could you imagine Geralt dancing the dance with a mask on?
However, handlers
Although he's done it before,
founded.
if you've played Wild
I
Hunt.
believe she's standing. She also has been.
Got it. Thanks. Alright. Got the...
Take care out there. If you find the chief, I shall rush to your side.
The chief realized something was wrong and ventured off to seek out the Supreme Healer. Need to find out where he went. Time to get going.
So now you need a bit more knowledge of the forest, so you go to your handler.
Strong, silent types, I guess.
Hi there, Mr. Witcher.
Progressing, I suppose.
Of course. Whatever I can do to help.
You heard of the herbs, their ingredients I need to...
Celandine? I don't... Is someone not well?
The Gajalaka chief is...
So if you had like a herbalist, pretty much that's what a witcher is, a herbalist who just combines certain ingredients to make certain concoctions, spells and all that kind of shit. And your handler is pretty much the same as you. They just do research on animal life, plants and mushrooms and all that kind of shit. So these two talking like ingredients and concoctions is actually would be an interesting idea.
They definitely get in the way.
Keeping them out of the whole forest.
She's... How do I put this? But above all, I interact with many...
So they're pretty much talking about the hunter that she's tagged with.
They'll be humming it all the way from your world to ours.
So long.
Good luck out there.
So if you actually, that's probably something I probably should have mentioned. You're probably wondering where your hunter is at this time. Well, you're pretty much making sure nothing wanders into there. No tempered, no tempered monsters come walking into here like Nerjigate or the Hazak or something like that. So,
Miss you, Roach.
so that's pretty much where your hunter is. If you were wondering, just little tidbits like that, which I thought they got pretty spot on. So trying to find the chief and the wasp, it can be quite hard. So usually just traveling up here and looking around these spots is usually probably the easiest way to do it. So once you've actually, well, when you come close to actually finding the chief, you actually got to fight him, but you'll have a little bit of a dialogue come up,
Medallion's humming strongly.
just like that.
Must be close.
So he's pretty much just below you.
That's gotta be the chief, and he looks angry.
So now what you got to do is kick his fucking ass.
No choice.
He's not as easy as he looks. It's because he summons his little boys to come in too. And I actually fainted, and then bang, there was just one more hit I needed. I got triple teamed, and then he hit me, and then that was it.
Sorry to keep
It was enough to make me faint.
That is without a doubt.
Fucking pissed me off. But we managed to beat him.
Right. Sorry for that wallet.
So he's just talking about how something happened to him, and stuff like that. So he's just saying that he felt another presence, and that the fact that he felt a dark shadow come over him. So he tried to retreat into the forest to save his people and try to save himself by getting healed of this curse.
The events in the forest, they're linked. Have to be. Figuring out the problem, calm things down. That ought to solve the chief's problem too. Need to keep going.
So now you have to get to that red part there, which is where the totem is. So that's the chief issue completed. So usually what I do is I'll just... Oh shit, hold on. I'll tag where I have to go so I'm not wasting time. And I usually go to that, this camp here. I think is the easiest. And in this way I do recommend going to the item container and like picking up all your stuff for your pouches. Excuse me. Oh god. Excuse me, man. Oh yeah, just like beefing yourself up. If you have any adamant seeds or anything you can buff yourself, make sure you grab all of these out as well. Life pails will really help. What else could I suggest? Just getting your radial menu all sorted. Like, one thing you're going to have to do is try to keep the Pookie alive. So those life powders, so you've got easy life powders and you just your normal life powders. You really need to use those to keep them alive. In this particular video, I think he died, but I was so close to killing him and I ran out of life powders, so that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But the rewards are that you get an attack gem, so it's fucking worth it. Again, I'll probably do it off camera, but it's such a long quest, man. You have to be, up for it to do it, like in the mood to do it. So your radial menu will actually help you the most in this fight. Another thing you want to watch out for is, not watch out for, but nothing you want to do when you're doing this fight is use the environment to your advantage. If there's a paratoad on the ground, use that. If there's falling boulders, use that. Always stay on the high ground, I guess, if you can. Like jumping animations, jumping down, slashing animations do a lot of damage, so having all that's good. Another thing the Leshen does too is that he calls out those little tail rider thingies, those little lizard thingies, whatever the hell they are. Flash pods can actually be really good for crowd control because they go all confused for X amount of time, and when your Pookie is trying to help you and he's being attacked by 3 of those lizard dudes, like, throwing out a flash bomb will give him a bit of time to do his own little damage, or you to try and kill them. I suggest maybe keeping one of them alive, because as soon as you've killed them all, the Leshen will go back through that animation where he will summon more. Not right away, but he will. So I do suggest trying to keep one alive. I don't think I did it in this one, but sometimes that can be hard, especially with the dual blades, which has like a long fighting, striking animation that like can't be cancelled as soon as you're moving. The Leshen controlling the wildlife. I guess there are a lot here, but normally they only have 3.
Fine. I'll cut you down first. Is that all you got?
Oh damn. Do not underestimate them, even though they're pretty weak compared to you. In numbers, they can cause a bit of trouble. But obviously the dual blades are doing some work.
Well, how long you gonna make me wait?
Gotta love it. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what weapon you like. You have to appreciate the dual blades and their ability to do some DPS.
Medallion silent now. Seems they were controlled by magic.
Alright, now when it comes to the Leshen,
I run into. Need to be careful.
in between fights, obviously sharpen. Use the Igni sign as soon as it's ready, because it like gets them into a bit of a daze once you've got them. So just remember to use your Igni sign as often as you can. It's pretty scary shit.
Should do the trick.
And then wail on his ass.
Oh, come on.
As you can see, the dual blade's doing some work. Now you can actually bait that attack in if you just stay close to him. I don't know why I didn't in this particular one. Got to keep moving as often as you can. And this is what I was saying about the high ground, as you can see. See, as you can see again, once you attack close, he does go for a swipe.
How you like that silver?
Obviously, if you have a stera jerky, you actually get healed from it too. So he's not a hard boss. It's just the ability to attack multiple times. Yeah, you might be able to see what I'm trying to set up here. If you move too far away from him, he'll actually teleport behind you staying on the line of sight is not a good idea. And there he goes, right on cue. Take this! And that's what I was saying about using your environment to your advantage as often as you can. It does a hell of a lot of damage when it drops on him. And of course use your ignite and then wail on his ass.
Takes care of that.
Alright, now once you've actually got him down to a certain amount of health, he'll actually escape to this area. This area I find is pretty good to fight him in because there's actually a poison, I'm not even sure what it's called, like a poison area around here, which he is actually weak to poison apparently.
Need to do something about it teleporting. Maybe I could use
He's got this
sling
poison
contraption.
thing right here. And if you can get him into him, he actually gets poisoned really quick, so... And it does a decent amount of damage. It's like when he gets poisoned, it's 20 every couple of seconds or whatever it was, so... It's not a bad way to, you know, help cut down his health as well. A little chipping off his health. Damn, I was trying to get in around him. And just like before, you can, you know, pretty predictable when it comes to teleporting as well. And wail on them when you can. So once you've damaged him a fair whack again, he actually escapes to a third location. This location isn't too bad, but he actually brings out those fucking tail rider thingies. I think they're called tail riders or whatever they're called. Now obviously you can see here he only brings out 3, so you can throw out a big flash pod to try and crowd control. Or take him out one by one if you really want to. You just have to watch your back, that's all. It's not impossible to do, it's just the fact that you do so much damage that those little tail rider things, they come up to you and they fucking fuck around. And then you hit them and kill them.
That all you got?
And you actually burn this barrier down. Not sure why I tried to strike with this guy. You can actually use the ignite to actually burn through those roots and to actually hit the lesion as well. Fucking asshole. Whale time. And then next up he goes to another spot as well. Like I said before, this is a long ass fight. I found this place to be probably the hardest to take him out. Because he's actually got those dudes waiting with him. But fighting up on this area here is not too bad. It's just when they start going downhill towards the beach.
Come on, come closer.
Like you can see he's all the way over there. And he actually starts teleporting his way down to the beach, which is fucking annoying, man. Again, just out of his line of sight. The best way I've come about of trying to deal with both the tail riders and him at the same time is just trying to use the ignite to actually try and hit him and them at the same time. And while he's stunned, just try to wail down on him. I think this fight would be a lot easier with a light bow gun, but I haven't actually tried it with it, so I guess it's something I could try. As you can see, they're baited out in a melee attack. And then once you've got him down to this part of the forest, this is actually the final part.
It's angry now. Have it your way. Let's go.
So pretty much if you try to take him out as quick as you can in this area.
Oh, come on.
Now see, it's got a little bit of space, a bit of cover if you really need to heal or run away. But you got the high ground.
saved.
And here we go with the Pookie coming to our aid. Again, remember to use, you can see his health in the top left, just under our health.
This beast.
Use your life powder to keep him alive. In this particular run I didn't actually manage to, although I actually got him right to the end, and then the lesion actually killed him, because I ran out of life powders too, so... Crowd control, of course, I spoke about that already. And whale. So by this point, Pookie had already died. Again, I was just trying to bait him into a corner, into a certain spot where I could ignite him and he couldn't escape. Just like that. And whale time. And that's pretty much it. So like I said before, pretty much the tips I would give is try to just hit him with ignite as often as you can. Try to keep one of those tail riders alive, because then he won't summon them as often. Also, you can bait out his melee attacks if you just stand in front of him for a sec, and then he won't be hitting you with those flying bats or the roots, which is the abilities that hurt you the most. So if you follow those simple rules, he shouldn't be too bad. It's just a long and drawn out fight. And this is pretty much what happens when you complete the chief quest. Really disappointed I didn't get the other one done too. I was so close. But since the lesion is gone, the curse has been lifted, and we have the chief back. Hail to the king, baby.
What's that now? Thank you for saving me. I am in your debt. Are you part of the research commission?
No, I'm a witcher. Here in the forest on a contract for the commission. Want to thank anyone. Thank them for hiring me.
I see.
Yeah, so even though that these two the two games are different worlds, they actually complement each other really well.
Got it.
And the fact that some of those companies like Capcom and CD Projekt Red and all that kind of stuff,
Thank you for
they're almost like, you know, they all work together quite well. So it's one of those ones where it's like, they're like, dance.
You folk are all right.
Yeah, I think that even though they're completely different worlds, like you got The Witcher 3, which is quite fucking gory, and then you've got this one, which is bright colours and the heroic type sense, and they do complement each other really well. That heroic tale at the end of the day.
And you convinced the Gajalaka to help us with our own investigation. Thank you so much.
So again, I'm not sure if you complete all 3 quests if your hunter's actually there. I'm not even sure.
Pretty sure I'll find one still open. Where's that hunter? While I tended to the Leshen, she cleared the forest of a lot of filth.
She's our brightest star, so she's rarely in one place for too long. As soon as that lesson was taken care of, she was already off
But
on
yeah,
another assignment.
all in all, not a bad quest. You also get his armor set and his weapons if you have enough,
Here's your reward.
you know, what are they called? If you have enough of his parts to do so.
It can't possibly have any value in my world. Give it to the hunter.
Hell yeah.
Couldn't have killed the Leshen without her help anyway. And this, also for your hunter.
What is it?
A runestone. Your hunters don't wield any magic of their own. But in our world, magic exists in some objects as a matter of course. If a Leshen ever appears again, tell your hunter to use it to summon flames.
Damn.
Alright. Godspeed.
So you get that Igne.
Take care.
So like I said before, all in all, a pretty cool little quest. You get like, look at that, 50, almost 54 minutes. Damn. But the rewards are unique to this quest and the armor and abilities you can do. Okay, Hunter rank 84 now. So there you go. As you can see, all those stats are coming out, all the things that I've done. Oh, went up 2 levels, nice. As you can see there, it didn't solve all the mysteries, so damn, gotta give it another go. Well, anyway guys, that is the Trouble in the Forest contract completed. Loved every bit of it. You know, it's cool how they starting to do crossovers and all that kind of stuff. Really love what these guys are doing with this one. With the Iceborne coming out soon, I really want to have a crack at that too. Well, anyway guys, I might just wrap it up here. Hopefully you did enjoy the whole Geralt of Rivia crossover, and if you did, remember to smash that like button to support my channel, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe, because I'd love to hear your feedback and your comments in the comment section below. I am your host, Noisy Boy. Thanks for coming on by, and as always guys, stay noisy.